Hi everyone, this is Richard Musty, Infusionsoft Certified Partner and leader of the Sydney User Group. I'm doing a recording here today because I get a question that's asked quite often, and that question is, can you do split testing using standard features of Infusionsoft? The question comes up because it's not a established feature in Infusionsoft, and this feature of split testing is available in other areas like plus this, but there are some limitations there as well. And so I thought I'd just quickly show you over the next 15 minutes how you can do split testing using existing features of Infusionsoft. I've actually created the campaign here first so I can give you an overview of how it works. Then we're going to go and create this again in a sandbox application. So I can learn from scratch, or you can learn from scratch how to do it. So here we have is a split test campaign, and this is what it looks like. It looks simple enough, and it is not that difficult. So what I'll do, I'll just go through it quickly. We have a tag that can start the campaign, or you can actually put the contacts straight into a sequence, and we'll talk about how to split those, how to assign those contacts. Once it goes into this sequence or in the campaign, it goes through a decision diamond, and the decision diamond splits the contacts into either Group A sequence and Group B sequence. Now, what this allows you to do is then start communicating with your contacts in different ways. So you can use this to send an email with, say, a subject line that's different in Group A compared to a subject line to those emails or communications that's sent to contacts in Group B, hence split testing. How do we get them into these sequences? Well, what we have to do is we have to decide on a way to assign a tag to the people in the split test. For example, you could send a tag Group A sequence tag to contacts who has a Infusionsoft ID 1 to 1000, or send them to Group B if their Infusionsoft ID is 1000, 2000. Okay, I have seen that done. I think a good approach, or a better approach to use, is assign a tag that will put them to Group A or Group B based on what their name starts with. So for example, my experience in looking at a lot of lists is that on the larger list, people who have the surname or first name that start with A to L represent about 50% of the overall list. Therefore, those who have a name that starts with, say, M to Z, they can go into Group B, and that represents around 50% of the average list, give or take 5 or 10%. Certainly good enough for split testing. So we're going to use that approach in this campaign. How do we do that? Well, we have to use an action set. An action set is a legacy feature that allows you to do if-then type statements. And I'm going to show you what I mean now. So let's go into the first campaign, let's into the first sequence here. First thing we do is we remove all tags. I'll show you what these tags are later. These are just control tags within this campaign. Nothing exciting, but we'll remove them so we can get the campaign started. Because you know that once you apply a tag, if you try and reapply, it can't be done. So let's remove all the tags that are used in this campaign first. Then we apply an action set. And this is this legacy action set I was talking about. And all we have to do there is just type in the name of the action set, or select it from a drop-down box. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just come back here, and I'll show you how to do that action set. Now we're going to go to decision diamond now, because all that action set does is gives that contact a tag to go into Group B or Group A if the name starts with A to L. And you can see that's what's happening here. If the contacts tag contains split test assigned to Group A, go into Group A sequence. Otherwise, if their tag contains split assigned to Group B, go into Group B sequence. Forget this exception sequence, that's a pro tip, or a ninja trick as I hear that term used. We'll come back to that later. Okay, so once they go into here, this is where you actually do the communication. So you can stick an email in here, and you can test the subject line. Okay, and that's in Group A sequence, and the same with Group B. Okay, right. So the key component in all of this is the use of the action set. Right. So what I'm going to do now is I have action set up is the same application, and I'm going to show you the action set and how it's configured. I think it's this one here. Let's go in. So here it is. Okay, so this is the action set. Here's the name of the action set. It's a split test assign group tag, and has only two rules. Rule 1 is we wanted to apply split test assigned to group A tag when, and this only happens when the contact name starts with M to Y. And my apologies, run the following action when any of the criteria for if contact name starts with A to L are met. Apply this tag. Okay, so that tag will only apply if the name starts with A to L. And I gave it this name, and I'll show you how to do all that as well. To see how it does this, we click on Edit, and you can see how it's configured. All right, so here, apply this tag, which is using the decision diamond, but only do that if the contact name starts with A to L. And how do we do that? And here we go. This is a bit laborious, but you only ever have to do it once for your application, and then you can use it in any campaign. So what I did is we say, right, based on data from the contact record, when the contact's first name starts with A, then this rule is met. Then the tag is applied. Okay, but also, or you can see here, this rule is true when any of the following criteria. So I've got a criteria from A to L. It pretty much does the same thing, except the letter is different. Okay, so when the contact's first name starts with L, this criteria is met, and that rule will be applied, and that tag will be applied, I should say. Okay, so sounds a bit confusing. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to create an action set from scratch, so you can see what to do. Right, for that, I'm going to change screens. Okay, this is a sandbox account which doesn't have any of these action sets or campaign. Okay. Okay, let's get started. All right, so we're now in the action sets, and we need to create or add an action set. Keeps on going off the screen. So, okay, so the action set, and what we're going to call it is we're going to call it a split test. Assign, instead of calling it assign group tag, I'm going to call it assign to sequence A or B. Okay, so that's just the name of the action set. Now we have to set up the action. What is the actions we want to occur in this action set? We actually want to apply or remove a tag, because that is what's used in the decision diamond in the campaign to either put this contact into sequence A or sequence B. Right, so we're going to create a tag. And we're going to call this tag split test assigned to sequence A. We called this group A in the previous example. You put in the category if you like. In fact, let's do that. Let's call it split tags. Okay, create the tag. Right, so the tag is now being created, but we only want to apply that tag when the contact's first name starts with A to L, or any letters between A and L. So we only want to run this action set when certain rules are met. Okay. Okay, so to choose the name, I normally use a name that describes what it is you're trying to do. So in this case, we're going to make the rule if contact name starts with A to L. Okay, so very descriptive. Okay, so here are the rules. Here's how you manage the rules. Okay, so we're going to create the criteria that meets this rule, which is check to actually see if the name starts with A or B or C all the way down to L. Okay, to do that, what we're going to do is we want to know, this rule is true when, not all, but any of the criteria is met. Right, so let's see what we have to do. The criteria list is select contact field, and it is general information. Okay, first name, there it is. Okay, so here are the fields we want to do the test on. All right, select contact field, contact general information, first name starts with A. Save criteria. And that's it. For that particular, anyone whose name starts with A, we now have the rules set up. And create the criteria. Okay, same again. First name, we wait, starts with B. Save. Create another criteria. Contact, first name, starts with C. I assume you get the gist of all this. Okay, oh, we lost C, B. How'd that happen? Let's just fix that up. Must have forgot to click on save. B, save. There we go. C. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this video while I finish doing all of these. So you don't have to sit here and watch all this. Back in a minute. Okay, I've now created the A to L's. And I can now save and close that rule. Okay, and now we need to create the next rule, which is apply tag. I might just go click on the save first. Okay, so we created that rule. Now we need to create another one, which is apply remove tag, and split test and create using this wording. Split test assigned to sequence B. Category split test tags category. Okay, so I only run this action when certain rules are met. You can see where I'm going with this. So it's not if contact name starts with that L, it's M to Z. So we need to create that or add it. Okay. And that disappeared on the other screen again. Okay, choose the name. And the name is if contact name starts, oh, I said starts, okay. With M to Z. Okay, and create. Then we decide we need to define the criteria for that rule. Okay, so and here we go. Remember, this rule is true if any of the following is true. And we start again. If the first name starts with M, save the criteria. Next criteria, if it starts with N, starts with N. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'll just pause the video while I finish all the rest of these criteria. Okay, back again. I've nearly finished all of this. I've just got one more to go, which is Z. So I'll do that. Now, I also want to show you that you can use almost any field within the contact record, any standard field, and I encourage you to have a look through these because action sets can be used for a lot of things, not just what I'm doing here, and it's just handy to know. There's a birthday date created, and when you click on you're given the various options. Okay, is between, not between, before and after. But in general information, you can use it for things like emails if they're confirmed. Okay, so unconfirmed, opt out. So it is a very powerful tool, the action sets, and the action sets are still there and able to be accessed from within the campaign builder, because the campaign builder don't give you the ability to do 95% of what the action sets can do yet. And until the action sets are brought in as native features of Campaign Builder, action sets will stay there. So I encourage you to understand action sets. They're enormously powerful. You can change the field values using action sets, plus the things I've shown you here, plus a whole lot more. So please make the effort to try and get in there and understand the power of action sets. For now, we'll go back to first name. Starts with Z, it's the last one, and save criteria. Okay, and here we go. All there. Okay, so save and close. Save. And here we go. We have a split test action set assigned to sequence A or B. Run the following actions when any of the criteria for the rule called if contact name starts with A to L are met. And that is, and we've defined what those rules are, and this is what happens. Anyone who meets that rule are assigned a tag, or a tag is applied called split test assigned to sequence A. If the name starts with N to Z, this tag is applied, which is assigned to sequence B. We now have the foundation on which the decision diamond in the campaign can use to split the contact data. I'm sure you can see the power of this right now. All right, so now that's created, we'll save this. And now we can go in and create the campaign. Okay, so let's start the campaign. First thing you have to do is work out the best way to get the contacts into the campaign. And the best way to do that, or a way, not necessarily the best, but a way, is to apply a tag, or when a tag is applied. Okay, so let's stick that in there. It's already on tag, so I double click. Now, we actually haven't set up a tag yet just for this particular campaign to get it started. So what I'm going to do is open up a new tab. This is the a second instance of this particular Infusionsoft application, the sandbox. Try that again. Okay, so we now have the application open twice, but because I'm not doing anything inside the campaign, I can have this open and make some changes. So what we're going to need to do is go into CRM settings. Tags. Remember we created that category, split tags. So what tags we need to apply are what I call the control tags that control the contact within the particular campaign. So let's create a tag. And if you can even use naming conventions if you want. Control tag, start split test campaign. And this will be applied to the contacts you want to go through this campaign. Okay, and we'll go add. I'll just copy that. Add tag. Add another tag. This time I'll just paste it and stop. Make this stop split test campaign. The reasons for this become clear soon. Okay, and add the tag. Great. So split tags. As you can see, we've got two split tags for segmentation and 2 control tags. In fact, I could have even put an ST segmentation tag. Doesn't matter. Purpose of what we're trying to do here. Okay, so what we're going to do, this goal is achieved when? Reload that. Here's the split tags. Start split test campaign goal has been applied. Okay, so there we go. And at the end of the campaign, stop split campaign. So when we're finished with the contact inside the campaign, we'll have that tag applied in the sequence, which will get them out of the campaign, and everything in between are the sequences. Okay, so let's get started. We'll do it at the top level first. This one is assign contact to split test sequence A, or test sequence, sorry, split test sequence B. I'm making this very wordy so that you can understand what I'm doing. Okay. Next thing we've got to do is, once I go through that sequence, which will result in the contact record being applied a tag of split sequence A or B. So we need a sequence for each of those. Okay, so let's do that. This will, yep. Try that again. Okay, and there's a decision diamond. We'll just name these, which is split test sequence A, split test sequence B. Okay, and at the end, when there's finished with those sequences, a tag will be applied because we want to make sure it is, or they are, which will get them out of the campaign. So here we would have start the split test campaign. Stop. Okay. And this is it at a top level. This is it. It's not overly difficult campaign. All you have to do now is fill out the details of the sequence. All right, so let's go and get started. First thing we do whenever we start a campaign is tag swapping or delete tags that are going to be used throughout the campaign. So let's start. Split tag start. Yep, we get rid of that. Oops. Stop split test campaign. Get rid of the first one. People do this in different ways, but I like to do them individually. Assign to sequence A. Get rid of the first one. And the last one is assigned to B. Get rid of the first one. It's already done. Okay, so there are all the tags. The campaign is now ready to make this to do action based on tags being applied or removed throughout the campaign. Right. So the only other thing we have to do here is the action set. Put in the action set that does all the work that assigns the tags as to whether they're going to group A or group B, or sequence A, sequence B. And all you have to do here, because you've already created the action set, we just have to click on the down arrow, and this is the name of the action set we want to apply. Okay, there's a lot of work being done in there. It does it all for you. And that's it for that particular sequence. Okay, so next one we're going to do is the decision diamond. Okay, so rules for split test sequence A. Rule is, if there is a contact tag that has or contains, let's have a look at them. If you press the space bar, it'll give you the list. Okay, assigned to, here we go, sequence A. Yes, sequence A. Select that. And that's it for that one, for that sequence. And specify the rule for sequence B. Oh, here we go. Contact, if the contact tag contains press the space bar, assigned to B. And that's it. That's the decision diamond done. Okay, now we go in and define the sequence. Okay, now this is the where you apply your actions. So for people who, let's say, want to split test the subject line, okay, this is where you do it. Subject, yeah, email subject line test A, test. I'll say test 1. You go in there. Test subject line 1 or version 1, save or make ready. And that's it. That's all that sequence does. Now, what do we have to do here after we've done this? Well, what we do is we're finished with this campaign. It's done exactly what it wants to do. Or if you want it to do other work, throw all the other action in here as well, action steps. Okay, so for the purpose of this demo, this campaign has come to an end. So what I'm going to do, in fact, what I'm going to do, so we can see this working and we don't take them out of the campaign just yet, I'm just going to put a delay timer in here. Yep, that'll do. And then apply a tag that takes them out of this campaign altogether. Okay, so stop split test campaign. But just make it nice and clean, so otherwise you'll have contacts stuck in queued status for this sequence, and we don't want that. So remember, this is only here for this demo, because I'm going to show you in the performance report. Just make it a few minutes. 30 minutes, that'll do. Well, Monday. Yeah, get rid of this. And that's all there is to it for this particular sequence. And then we repeat it for the next sequence, which is split test sequence B. I can't remember the word and I use the other one, but I think it's something like test subject line 2. And then we simply put a timer in there for the purpose of this demo. I've got to stop that. No. 1 day. That'll do. And then apply the tag to get them out of this campaign altogether because we're finished with them. That's it. Right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to publish. Okay, it takes you straight into the performance report telling us there's no contacts in there at all. And now what we need to do is actually run some contacts through there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the pause the video while I populate this Sandbox account with some contacts, and then we'll run the campaign, see what happens. Okay, I'm back again. I've now added 5 contacts for this test. So let's just go have a look at those 5 contacts very quickly. I'll just go up here to the search. Not sure how familiar you are with wildcards and searching the quick find, but let's do this. Let's go. I know I sent them all to a test email account. The test 1, 2, test 3, test 4, test 5. So let's do a search on those. So test any digit or any number followed by an ampersand to indicate it's an email search. Let's see what we come up with. Okay, so it's come up with 5 results. Adam Ant, test 1, Bob Brown, test 2, Charlie Chubb, test 3, Peter Pan, and Steve Singer. So if this campaign works, the first 3 should go into sequence A, and the following 2 should go into sequence B. We'll go back to the campaign now. Here we go, we're all ready to go. So what we're going to do, because we already have these people selected, we're going to apply the campaign start tag that we created. Okay, so let's do that. And it is start split test campaign. It's this tag here. This is the tag that will put them into the campaign. So if I click on save, yes, that's correct. Process action. Yeah, I'm also waiting for that to happen. When we click on the refresh button, this campaign or this tag will be achieved. Therefore, we should end up with 5 people in this sequence. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay, they're sitting in there now. And remember what it does in this sequence? It does removes these tags. Not that they would have any at the moment. Yes, they would. They would have the start tag and put them through the action set. Okay, so we just wait a little while it does that. It's a legacy feature, that action set, so it may take a minute before it performs. Then it'll apply the tag whether they should go to sequence A or B, and the decision diamond will check that tag to see which sequence they're going to. So let's have a look. Not yet. There we go, look at this. Okay, so 3 of the contacts went into sequence A and 2 of them went into sequence B. What does it do? Sends an email, waits a day, and then it'll get them out of the campaign by applying this tag, which puts them in here. This goal is achieved, there's no sequence after it, so they drop out of the campaign altogether, and there's 2 here. Let's have a look and see who they are, although we should know. Okay, Adam Ant, Bob Brown, Charlie Chubb. Correct. Click on this. Peter Pan, Steven Singer. Excellent. Okay, it's doing exactly what we want. Now I'll go to my email and wait for the emails to come in. Okay, so let's just check to see if the emails have come in yet. Not yet. Okay, now the email haven't come in because this is a Sandbox account and Infusionsoft's not letting me actually send emails out. So I didn't anticipate that, even though it should. So all we can say now is I'll go into the sequence, and you can see by the fact that these 3 contacts are waiting here means that this email, in theory, has been sent. Okay, I can show you it does work. So what it'll do now is it'll wait 3 days, it'll apply this tag and get them out of this campaign altogether. So really, this is it. I hope that was beneficial to you. I'm sure it can be used in a lot of scenarios for split testing, and you no longer have to pay for a plugin that does this for you. Okay, bit of setting up to do, but once you've done it once, that's the only time you'll ever have to do it, because action sets can be applied in any campaign once they're filled out. The only other thing I want to just cover off with you is just a couple of pro tips, or one pro tip in particular. If you have a split test where it's possible for a contact not to go into either of the sequences, for example, if you only wanted surnames A to L or M to X to go into one of these, then you've got people whose names start with Y and Z. Okay, you'd just put another sequence in there, and that would be the exception sequence. Okay, connect it up to the decision diamond, and pretty much the same. Whatever content you want into there, make sure you apply the tag at the end of it to get them out of the campaign, and you go into the decision diamond. That should be exception, not exception. And just make sure you set up the rule, and make sure the rule is that it doesn't contain this or this. Okay, so let's do one. Doesn't contain. This. Now in decision diamond you don't go or doesn't contain, you have to go and. Contact tag doesn't equal B. Now in this case it always will, because we've included A to Z in all the rules. This will only work if there's a scenario where a split test doesn't cover every contact. So this is where you use the exception sequence to make sure you get them out of there and they don't get processed. Okay. The only other thing is now is the way you start this campaign. If you're going to start it with lots of contacts, you can start it by applying the tag. Okay, so you would go, I've only got 5 contacts in here, so I'm just going to bring them up. So whatever you have to do to get this up. It might be, get these search results, contact. Okay, all contacts, click on action, apply tag. Which is the start split test campaign. Okay, so when they come out of the campaign, they may still have some tags in there. Oh, sorry, the start split test campaign tag will not be applied, so it's ready to be applied again. Okay, this is how you can get all contacts into the campaign in one go. Okay, so you click on save and it will do that. Another method is that if you need to add people after you sent the bulk out, if you have other people that come in, or you've created new contact records and you want them to go through the split test, you can apply that tag. Another approach is that you can create a note template. Apply as a note, it's already set up. Okay, and have that go into here. Okay, send to split test campaign. Okay, and that's all you want to happen, so we have to publish it. No, because I didn't do this. I didn't configure it. Okay, this is just what entry will go into the contact record. It doesn't have to be anything exciting, just some documentation. Puts this contact into the split test campaign. You may want to put some extra notes there, just for your benefit. Only use when needing to test subject line. Okay. Click on that. Okay, now it's ready to publish. There's some performance mode, so we've got 3 there, 2 there. So what we're going to do now, we're going to create a new entry, and we'll call this one, we've got Peter Pan. And this can be test 6. Okay, have permission, save. Now we can click on Peter Pan. We're going to his contact record. Okay, it's a great approach when you're already in the contacts record. And come down, and under here you'll see there's a new note called Send to Split Test Campaign, which matches the wording exactly that you put here. Whatever wording you put here, this will appear in the drop down. Now, when you add the note, that template goal has now been achieved. Right, so we've clicked on Add Note, and here's it just puts a record in here for you. So now it's happened. Split test campaign. Now it says 3 and 2. Let's update it. Hopefully 1 will show up here. Okay, it's already done that. Let's put it through here, and this now says 3. Okay, so it was 3 and 2. It's now 3 and 3. His name starts with P, so it goes in split test B2. So there you go. There's an example of 2 different ways you can get a contact into this campaign. I hope you find this enjoyable, and if not enjoyable, then practical. And if you have any questions, let me know. Richard@advancedsalessystems.com.au. Thank you.